Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about the major breakout that Bitcoin has witnessed over just the last 12 hours. We've broken up to almost $117,000, and today, we're going to be going over our mid-month price target for October 15th. We've been calling for a $130,000 Bitcoin by October 15th for almost 3 weeks now, and this correction points us much farther in that direction. Can Bitcoin sustain this rally, or are we about to see a flash crash to wipe out a bunch of long liquidation levels down around 113,000 and fill the CME futures gap at 110? Or on the flip side, is Bitcoin about to go through a major breakout and rally back to all-time high as we now begin October? I'm very confident that October is going to be very bullish, but what is that going to look like? That's exactly what we're going to cover today. So if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and make sure to check out Stampseed. If you ever want to secure your seeds, one of the best ways to do it is to stamp them onto titanium, put them somewhere nobody can find them, and then they're fireproof. Check them out, get 15% off down below. Let's get started. Bitcoin, as I said, over the last 12 hours has had a very bullish time. Even just over the last 20 hours, Bitcoin is up $4,000. And a large part of that is because this inverse head and shoulders pattern that we've been discussing over the course of this week on Monday and on Tuesday did finally complete. And not only did it complete, we also completed that inverse head and shoulders pattern with an uptrending neckline, which is extremely bullish. Generally speaking, inverse head and shoulders patterns are very bullish, but oftentimes you can denote how strong the inverse head and shoulders pattern is by the direction of the neckline. And right now what we're witnessing is an uptrending neckline on the inverse head and shoulders pattern, such as this. That, generally speaking, is a bullish thing for the Bitcoin market or whatever market is forming the inverse head and shoulders pattern. And yesterday, we did see that technical breakout right here when we broke above the key level of support of $115,000. At the time, it was resistance. Now it is support. On top of that, as we broke through that level, we also saw a breakout above this downtrending safety line for bearish shorts. This is part of the reason that Bitcoin is going so vertical right now. This downtrending safety line is the line that pretty much anybody that's in a long-term short trade for Bitcoin is going to be looking at right now. And as we broke above that, that indicates that the bulls are very much moving in the direction of being in control of this market, and therefore a short trade is no longer a good idea, which is part of the reason that we saw a major amount of shorts get liquidated right there when we passed above $115,000. This is the last 24 hours or so on the liquidation heat map. You can see this little yellow and green box right here. These are all of the short liquidations that got liquidated. You can see there were at one point, at one level, over $80 million of them. If we come to the actual liquidation data, you'll see that total short liquidations over the last 12 hours or so have totaled well over $250 million. We've seen almost $500 million, about $400 to $500 million of short liquidations in the last 24 hours, especially about $250 million ever since we broke above $114,000. And once again, that is because we're breaking above this basically short exit point. So not only did we have a great number of short liquidations that drove this big bullish movement to the upside, we also have seen quite a number of short stop losses that got triggered to this point. And of course, if you're in a short trade and you get liquidated or you hit a stop loss, then that of course means that the inverse of whatever the trade is occurs. So in that case, the people that were short actually end up becoming bulls because they're forced to buy to cover the short position. And so that is where a large amount of this bullishness has come from. And that's given Bitcoin a current action line that looks something like this, extremely bullish. This is probably not going to maintain for very long just because it is basically vertical. But if it did, it's kind of funny that it would actually line up with our October 15th, $130,000 price target that we've been talking about for the last 3 weeks or so, because if we did manage to stay here, we would of course be above $130,000 before we got there. Now, that's obviously not going to happen. Bitcoin's going to break this uptrend, probably do a back test, and we'll probably see Bitcoin hitting $130,000 around October 15th to October 31st at this point. At this point in time, because the correction was a bit deeper than we thought it was, than we thought it would be, it is most likely that price target of $130,000 will be hit sometime in the second half of October. So just keep that in mind. The dates may move around a little bit, may move back a few days, but in general, a break above all-time high and a rally up to $130,000 in accordance with the big old inverse head and shoulders patterns that we have is most likely at this point in time. And part of the reason that we can say that is because we have an inverse head and shoulders pattern right here. As you can see, we have a left shoulder right here, a right head right here, and a right shoulder right there. This is the downtrend. We just broke it. So technically speaking, the inverse head and shoulders pattern is in the process of being broken. Let's get a cleaner chart because I don't own any. I'm always doing analysis on something. Let's go to a clean chart. We have our inverse head and shoulders pattern that looks like this, right? Not great that it's downtrending, but that's okay because honestly, it means it's easier to break out. We go ahead and draw our price target right here off of the head down to the neckline, extrapolate, boom. You're looking at, as you can see right there, $130,000. That's where the $130,000 level comes from. We just kind of spitballed around October 15th, but generally speaking, we mainly believe it's going to happen sometime in the month of October. So with this breakout occurring right now, this is an extremely powerful buy signal for Bitcoin. What I would be looking for now would be two things. One, I would be looking for a back test off of this downtrending level of resistance. And the second thing that I would be looking for is for Bitcoin to break through the next critical level of resistance, which is the 0.618 to 0.65 Fibonacci golden pocket that sits here between $117,000 and $118,000. It also just so happens that that is one of the major point of controls on the Bitcoin market. Depending on which chart you look at, if you look here on the Coinbase chart, you're going to see that, if we go ahead and let it pull up, $118,000 on the Coinbase chart is the point of control. And so if Bitcoin can break through this visible range volume profile point of control, that means that we will be firmly in bullish territory. So Bitcoin, in other words, is just a few $1,000s away from being in extreme bullish territory. We had a lot of very powerful bullish confirmations over the course of this last 12 to 24 hours, and I'm very excited about where we're going from here. Historically, just to bring in some historical data, October's generally average about a 23% rally. September's average a negative 4.3% rally. So in other words, they on average see Bitcoin retrace by 0.43%. And November's on average, because of some of the Novembers that we've had in past, moving into Q4 of the 4-year halving cycles, November's oftentimes average over 40% price appreciation. Well, so far, we just closed out September, and as you can see, if we go to the monthly chart here, just zoom in here, September ended up being a very bullish month for Bitcoin, which is not something that anybody really saw coming. September is now closed, and we closed plus 5.3%. But remember, the average September over the last 14, 15 years of Septembers has been negative 4.3%. So Bitcoin outperformed the average September by a spread of almost 10%. That means that a rally of 23%, which is the average for October, makes a lot of sense. And of course, this also falls into perfect alignment with all of the fundamentals that we've talked about. Just to run through them really briefly with headlines, we've got the 0.25% rate cut, another 1 full percent rate cut coming over the next 12 months. We've got gold going on a massive rally. Bitcoin normally follows it about 8 weeks later. So Bitcoin is almost certainly going to go through a major rally because of that. We've got S&P 500 rallying in a massive way. We've got Dixie that is struggling. We've got the United States Treasury bond market, which is extremely difficult to control right now, causing a crisis in confidence around fiat currencies, which is driving people towards hard assets, which is why gold is rallying so much. And Bitcoin, of course, will be the profiteer of that in due time. You also have M2 money supply exploding. You have institutional adoption. You have all of these different fundamental factors that are kind of layered on top of the fact that we have a bullish September, which is a setup for a bullish October. In history, anytime that you've seen a bullish September, you've seen a very bullish October. And so we fully expect that that's going to happen again this year. So we have every reason to believe that there will be at least a 23% movement on the October monthly candlestick. And if we did see a 23% movement on the October monthly candlestick, it's kind of funny. It's almost like this prediction has predictive power, right? A 23% movement on the October candlestick would put Bitcoin at $140,000. And then, of course, if you'll remember, if we see a 40% movement in November on top of that, like we have in past, a 40% movement off of 140 ends up putting Bitcoin up at $197,000 by the end of November. Do I think that's going to happen? Honestly, it is very much possible. We have a very bullish setup on daily chart. MACD just crossed bullish. RSI just crossed bullish. If you look out on the 3-daily chart, 3-daily chart is looking gorgeous as well. You're about to see a bullish MACD cross for the first time in months. The last time you saw a bullish MACD cross was right here. We rallied $14,000. The time before that we saw a bullish MACD cross, Bitcoin rallied $40,000, right? RSI is breaking bullish. Major, major, major green lights. I think you're about to see an explosive Q4, massive, massive Q4, and I would not be at all surprised to see Bitcoin closing out this quarter between $150,000 to $200,000. People have been telling you, myself included, that Q4 is going to be absolutely explosive for Bitcoin. The events of the last 24 hours have just pushed us even farther in that direction, and I'm very, very confident that you're going to see Bitcoin going through a massive, massive price appreciation over the course of the next couple of months. So my question for you is, are you ready? Well, the most obvious way that you can be ready is by acquiring Bitcoin as fast as you possibly can. And the best way that you can acquire Bitcoin is through one of our sponsors, iTrust Capital. We're about to go over everything that we just talked about, but I want to let you know a little bit about why I support iTrust Capital. If you guys don't know, Bitcoin is, in my opinion, the best investment that you can make anywhere. IRAs, traditional IRAs, Roth IRAs, and even 401ks are the best investment vehicles that you can get access to in the United States markets. iTrust Capital is the most trusted company that marries the two. With iTrust Capital, you're not buying IBIT. You're not buying Fidelity's ETF. No, you're not buying ETFs. You're buying actual Bitcoin in your IRA. How incredible is that? Why are more people not talking about this? It's absolutely remarkable. With iTrust Capital, you are able to invest through your Roth IRA, through your traditional IRA, through a 401k, into Bitcoin and a litany of cryptocurrencies. There's like over 100 of them. And one of the best things about it is that the fees are basically nothing. It's a flat 1% fee on everything. A lot of IRA companies have massive fees. You're ending up paying 3, 5, 10% of the transaction price. And at that point, what's even the point? You're negating the benefits of the tax break. In iTrust Capital, you're getting very minimal, very simple to understand fees. There's not a bunch of hidden fees. And the best part about it is you have access to customer support in Irvine, California that speaks English, that is easy to understand. They understand the product. You have access to incredible customer service for one of the most important parts of your investment portfolio, which is none other than your IRA. So if you have not already started investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies through your IRAs, I highly encourage you to sign up for iTrust Capital with the link in the description box down below. Get a $100 funding bonus. Whenever you put funds in the account, you're going to get $100 for free. And you can also transfer funds over to your Roth IRA, traditional IRA, 401k, etc., from another account. So you can move funds over there, start investing in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency in a tax-advantaged way today, because who really likes paying that creepy uncle named Sam, right? I don't like giving him money. I find any possible legal way I can to reduce taxes. We bring our taxes so far down. It's incredible. We just try and negate as many taxes as we can. And that's why I max out our IRAs on day one of the year. Literally, January 1st, $14,000, $7,000 in my accounts, $7,000 in my wife's accounts, same day, maxed out. You can do the same thing, even if it's on a smaller scale. Invest in IRAs, invest in Bitcoin today with iTrust Capital. Now, where is Bitcoin going from here? I firmly believe that a bullish Q4 is on the horizon, and I'm very, very, very excited about that. So I want you guys to stay tuned, because the historicity of the Q4 rallies is something that should not be scoffed at. October is historically, seasonally, the second most bullish month of the year, and November is the first most bullish month of the year. So basically, guys, I am projecting that Bitcoin is going to more or less just go vertical with a couple of 5 to 15% drops along the way, and we're more than likely going to end this year with Bitcoin having traded well over $150,000, and $100,000 is in the rearview mirror. Now, in the short term, I do want to warn you, we do still have that CME futures gap down here at 110. It's possible we just leave it behind forever, but it is also possible that we drop down and fill it. If we do, that doesn't mean that the bull market's over. That means the CME futures gap is getting filled, because the self-fulfilling prophecy that we have to live with, because somebody came up with the idea that CME futures gaps have to be filled like 7 years ago when they came out, unfortunately. But if we do see that correction, all it does is build more support. Bitcoin has more or less been trading sideways between $100,000 and $120,000 for the last year. We built an incredible bulwark of support, which honestly leads me to believe that if we do have a bear market, $100,000 might be the bottom of the bear market. So you're getting, in my opinion, what are going to be future bear market prices investing in Bitcoin today. So I highly encourage you to invest in Bitcoin. And, know the risks, do your own research, make decisions for yourself. I'm not your financial advisor, et cetera, et cetera. You've heard the spiel. It's in the description, right? But I do highly encourage you to consider an allocation to Bitcoin if you have not already. By the way, if you want to join a group of people that understand Bitcoin and are trading it constantly, the best place to be is over here in our very own first cohort trading group. If you've not already signed up, you should. Look at this guy. 6,000% trade. He did a 6,000% trade on Zcash. Holy cow. This is the kind of thing that we're having going on right now in our Discord server. It's ridiculous. All of these people over here, myself included, are showing you how to make incredible trades, right? This is the same trade, plus 4,000% before I got up to 6,000, right? If you want to learn how to trade like myself and like our expert traders over in our Discord server, all you got to do, sign up for 2bit, deposit $100, take a screenshot of your UID, send it to MalachiPats@CryptoJeb.com. When you sign up for 2bit, our favorite cryptocurrency exchange, you're going to get a year free of the first cohort Discord server. That's a $419 value. We're going to give it to you totally for free just because you sign up for 2bit. So sign up for our favorite leverage trading exchange, which would be 2bit. It is our preferred exchange. Make sure to sign up with the link in the description box down below. Deposit $100. send the UID, user identification number, over to MalachiPass@CryptoJeb.com. Instructions are in the description, and he will respond back with a coupon code to get into the first cohort and join our group of over 250 expert traders and learn more about how to trade Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies proficiently. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share the content with somebody that you think would find it valuable. We are rapidly approaching 250,000 subscribers. Very excited about that. It was many years ago our subscriber count surpassed Bitcoin, and I'm honest. I'm going to be honest. I'm getting a little scared. I'm getting a little scared that Bitcoin's going to pass us again. We got to get in a race, guys. I need you to subscribe to the channel. If you're new here, you've never seen this, here's why you should subscribe. I have been doing content on Bitcoin every day for 8 years. That is longer than anybody you know on YouTube. I only know of one YouTuber that's been doing content for longer than me that's still active, and that's Nicholas Merton over at DataDash. You should definitely subscribe to my friend Nick Merton. Other than that, I'm the oldest guy in the room. Right? I know these charts backwards and forwards, and I'm going to show you how to succeed in them because I've been doing it for over half of the existence of Bitcoin. If that's not a reason to subscribe, I don't know what is. Everybody who started after me, many of them have been knocked out because they sold out. I don't sell out. You can't get me to sell out. So make sure you subscribe, not only for good charting, but also for integrity, because we believe what we believe and we stand for what we believe, and we're not going to change. Let's hit 250,000 subscribers in the month of October. I love you very much. Before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.